And boom, yes, you are locked into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. It is Monday, August 4th, 2025, and it's a great Monday. It's cooler today. It's cooler outside, and I appreciate that. The humidity's kind of backed off, at least for a day or two. We're going to take advantage of that situation, and we're going to roll. Look, if you want to be a part of the program today, the number is going to be 601 879 0002. The text line, it's always open. And listening or text our audience, I just appreciate all your inputs and stories. I try to grab from them or molds the show. And I just want to continue to encourage you guys to use that any chance that you get. The number is 601 879 5060. You know the deal. We're streaming on Rumble. We're streaming on X. We're streaming on YouTube. And we're streaming on that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't like saying the name. And at, of course, the mothership, WYAB.com. Please, if you would, give me a follow on Twitter at ANDREWGASSER. I post a lot of the show notes and things that we talk about there so that you can go ahead and trust what I'm saying, but verify what I'm saying. It's a two-way street. We're all working together on this, and it's just important that we keep those lines of communication open at all times. And as usual, every day, we're here to equip the saints. We got to equip the saints. And it's interesting. I was watching a documentary this weekend, and people don't realize where some of these words that are in our American lexicon come from, like philosophy. I did not realize this. Maybe many of you out there did, but I did not. Philo means friend or friend of. Sophia or Sophie means wisdom. So philosophy is really a friend of wisdom, which is why I always try to start the show with some wisdom. And today's wisdom is coming from Proverbs. The naive believes everything, which is true. You're naive, you just believe whatever you're told, right? But the sensible person considers his steps. But if you're sensible, you just don't rush into something, right? You sit there and you look at the situation, you take in all the data or as much data as you can consume or in the time that's reasonable. And then you go and you make your decision. That's what we do in life. Nowhere in here does it say how you feel. And this weekend, the Sweet Bee and I did some show prep together. We watched some things that we normally wouldn't watch just to see other points of view, other perspectives, always trying to increase my worldview, biblical worldview, but trying to see it from different perspectives. Because if we do that, then we're going to have better arguments when we actually get to put those arguments to work in the court of public opinion. Real quick, I want to say thank you to Marie Thomas up there in Oxford, Lafayette County. She sent me this awesome Gulf of America hat, which I'm proudly sporting today. Dark MAGA took a day off. Red MAGA took a day off. We're rolling with the Gulf of America. That's right. And there is just so much that's happening. Some of the biggest news that I thought happened over the weekend actually occurred Friday, just after we got off the air. And the place that I really want to start is with the Supreme Court. On Friday, and this is coming from SCOTUS blog. On Friday, the Supreme Court in the afternoon instructed the parties in a Louisiana redistricting dispute to file new briefs on whether the creation of a second majority black congressional district violates the Constitution. And this goes back to the voter rights law from way back, the voter rights amendment from way back in the 60s. And we have been under this illusion that we have to have majority, minority, or minority, majority, however you want to say it, districts all across the United States. Now, Florida has already said we're not doing that, and they're already doing their own thing. But Louisiana said we're not going to do it, and the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeal said, no, you have to. And long story short, is there's a group of non-black voters that has filed a lawsuit saying that the minority-majority districts in the VIA Voter Rights Act would violate their civil rights. And they're like, No, I don't think so. So now they appeal to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is saying, "We're gonna take this case." And many conservative commentators and many liberal commentators are like, "Oh my goodness, things are gonna change here. Things are actually gonna happen." And the truth of the matter is that we have the real potential to see all of these districting, districts that have been gerrymandered over the past years, whether you think of New York, whether you think of California, whether you think of Illinois, where they have drawn these crazy, crazy districts. Um, they're all gonna become under scrutiny. And what is so fascinating about this is that the left has manipulated the Constitution into ways it was never meant to be manipulated, and the Democrats, their chickens are coming home to roost. Because even if California, New York, and Illinois can all manipulate and draw out all these districts, the overwhelming majority of states are doing the same thing that New York, Illinois, and California have done, and those are just the big 3 states. There's other states that have done it too. I'm not sure. I know I want this to go away because I don't think we should have, lines drawn by race or anything. I like the square box technique. I realize that's not ever gonna happen in my lifetime, but that's just how I feel about the situation. Uh, congressional districts can be somewhere between 750,000 people, as much as maybe 1.1 million people, depending on how it's drawn. So, I don't think we'll ever get to that part of or that level of perfection where we have the perfectly drawn districts, but I know we can do a lot better than we're doing right now. And the text line is blowing up already. This is awesome. You know, this is all being stemmed by California and Gavin Newsom, and now Texas is really getting involved in this, and that's the next place I wanna kind of go to. The Democrats are running to Illinois. And my question is they don't wanna redraw the districts. The votes are there to do it. They just need a quorum. The Democrats are like, "The only way we're gonna stop this in Texas is to stop the quorum." And by the way, I'm really excited. This Thursday from 10 to 10:30, or actually 10:07 to 10:30, we're gonna have Lieutenant Colonel Larry Brock Jr. on the radio program again. You might know him as, the J6er who stood up a prisoner of political war wing in the federal justice system, Bureau of Prisons, and he's gonna be on talking about all the craziness that's happening in Texas. And somehow, some people have donated millions of dollars to fly all the Democrat Texas legislators from Texas to Illinois. And what I wanna know is someone who is from Illinois, although I consider Mississippi my home state, why do these Democrat legislators always run to Illinois? If you think back in 2018, when Wisconsin was going through this turmoil, what did the Democrats do there? They all ran to Illinois and J.B. Pritzker. These Democrats, their playbook is open for everybody to see. When they don't get their way, they just throw their toys out of the pram and away they go. There's no consistency. There's no congruency. There's nothing there. And you should see these guys and the way they're posing on this plane. And this is coming from Eric Doherty on Twitter. It says Democrat lawmakers were given a dedicated $40 million jet that cost $15,000 per hour or more to rent. They raised the funds, loaded everybody up on that plane, and off to Chicago they went. All of this is done to break the quorum of the Texas legislature to block a vote on redistricting. At some point, they're gonna have to come back because there's flood relief that needs to get done. There is work. The people's work needs to get done in Texas, and right now, the only thing stopping it is the Democrats. And remember what we say about Democrats: no solutions, just slogans, just sound bites. And that's all this is. It's a stunt. It's a political trick. It is not going to achieve what they want. It'll get some news headlines, and you might be able to raise some money off of it, but that's really about it. Now, Governor Greg Abbott, um, he is not playing around at all. He has issued a massive statement, and I'm going to repost that right now on X. So if you're out there, go ahead and you can read it for yourself. But I'm just going to give you the highlights of this. Governor Abbott is giving till 3 p.m. on Monday, today, for everybody to come back to Texas, all the representatives come back to Texas so they can do the work of the people in Texas. But if not, he is going to go out and possibly pursue felony charges, and it was also invoking Texas Attorney General opinion number KP 0382 to remove the missing Democrats from membership in the Texas House. I didn't know you could do that. I mean, Texas don't play. You're an elected official, you don't show up to work, you gone. I kind of like that. This is a train. This Trump train has literally left the station, and it's going down the tracks. And it's moving and grooving. And you've got a lot of people who are not necessarily happy with Trump, but they are getting the political reality that this is what the American people voted for. This is what the American people want. If these leftist states want to redraw congressional districts that are going to unfairly punish Republicans, do you know that California is 42% Republican? Yet they only have 7 seats out of the California congressional delegation. If I read my source right, 7 seats. Yet they have 40%. How is that fair? I don't know. But hey, California has this fair maps program in place where it's an independent map drawing. So even if California, New York, and Illinois wanted to redraw their maps, they can't do it because of their independent map projects laws that they have. It's kind of funny how that works. And the truth of the matter is, depending on what happens in the census in 2030, not only will they have to redraw the maps to try to make it more Democrat, but they're going to lose seats. Looking at my show prep here, Texas, Florida, Ohio, South Carolina, look, they all are redistricting. It's going to give the House a much bigger margin on the Republican side. Notice I didn't say conservative. The Republican side. And we're going to see how this all shakes out. Because if this actually happens, and with this Supreme Court ruling, what's it going to do to Mississippi? Think about what just happened. And look, I'm not throwing shade. I'm just calling it like I see it. What happened with our state congressional maps, Mississippi congressional maps, and also the state rep and state senator maps, where you can argue that arguably 2 of the most conservative senators got redistricted out of their districts. And this is what they claimed, the VRA, Voter Rights Act. It's going to change a lot. And this is all going to go impact our culture, our way of life, how we look at doing things. I don't think people realize the impact this is having. And oh, by the way, there are rumors out there that 2 conservative Supreme Court justices might be stepping down after the election next year. So that means Trump's going to have to appoint at least 2 more. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. You want to talk about an act of God. Trump wins, puts 3 people on the Supreme Court. I know they're not all perfect, but they're getting the job done. They come back. He wins the election in 2020, gets it stolen from him. He has to stew in it for 4 years. comes back, is going to replace another 2. That would be insane. This president will have appointed 5 Supreme Court justices. 5. And that doesn't include all the appellate courts and the federal bench nominees. It's going to have the most impactful presidency will be both Trump 45 and 47. And if we didn't have Biden 46, we wouldn't have Trump 47. And we haven't even talked about the immigration yet or all the other stuff that's happening. Look, we're off and running on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back. Whether new construction or remodeling, Stephen Arrington and his team at Elite Custom Construction can design and build your dream kitchen and cabinets, inside and outside. Using high-quality products, Elite Custom Construction specializes in cabinetry and intricate millwork. Established in 2011, licensed and insured, Elite Custom Construction is your solution to your next project. Call Stephen at 601-927-0552 or visit them online at elitecustomconstruction.net.
You can show your pride and patriotism in honor of the 250th birthday of this great nation by proudly flying a flag. And a complete flag source on I-55 in Jackson is the place to find it. All sizes for all purposes. And they have the official 250-year celebration flag. Have a look at CompleteFlags.com. That's CompleteFlags.com.
Hi, this is Lee Atkins of Home Care Plus in Ridgeland. We are a proud carrier of Abena Premium Incontinence products. Abena has the most absorbency available, making changes and leaks less likely. After 7 years as a seller, I can tell you these products are amazing and worth every penny to quality of life for patient and caregiver. And we ship all incontinence products as well. So please come see us at Home Care Plus in Ridgeland for all the incontinence needs of you or your family member. That's Home Care Plus in Ridgeland.
Your roof is constantly exposed to the elements, battling dirt, algae, and stains. But with Watkins Construction and Roofing Roof Wash Service, you can keep it looking like new. A proprietary rooficide treatment is EPA approved, safe, and guaranteed to prevent algae from coming back for at least 2 years. No harsh chemicals, no damage, no black streaks. Just a clean, beautiful roof that lasts. Call Watkins Construction and Roofing at 601-966-8233 or visit nomoreroofstains.com today.
So when are you going to check that thing off your to-do list?
Right, that. I don't know. How about next week?
How about now?
Or I could do it later, right?
No more putting it off. Do it now so you don't forget. You want this and have for a while.
Oh, you're right. I want this.
You deserve this. And it can help you in the long run. There. I just logged on to homescc.edu. We're getting you registered right now.
Wait. Hold up. I thought you had to show up on site to register at Homes.
You can do either one. You know that career you talk about all the time? The life you dream about? It starts today. How does that famous quote go?
Don't. Please don't.
The secret to getting ahead is...
getting started.
Fall classes start August 18th, and we don't do Fridays at home. Register at a campus near you Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 3:30, or right now at homecc.edu. And when you come to Home CC, your tuition could be free with a 20 on your ACT.
Holmes Community College.
No place like Holmes.
The mowing season is full on here in Mississippi. I'm David Frederick, owner of Frederick Sales and Service in Brandon. The industry-changing Exmark Laser Z commercial mower turns 30 years old this year and has been redesigned with even more great features you just have to see. We have a sale going on with instant rebates, and 0% financing is available too. Stop by our store and let our award-winning staff show you the Exmark difference. Fredericks and Exmark, over 3 decades serving you in Brandon since 1993.
Tri-County Tree Service, the Jackson Metro's premier company to handle all of your tree service needs. Russ Borland and his team specialize in large tree, low-impact removal. Tri-County Tree Service has the right equipment to safely handle the most technical trim jobs or tree removals. Storm damage can happen year-round, so let them clean it up and they'll deal with your insurance claim. Tri-County Tree Service, by phone at 601-TREE-GUY or online at tricotreeservice.com. That's tricotreeservice.com.
Love it. Love it. Welcome back to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. Phone number 601-879-0002. The text line is open at 601-879-5060. CNN has got multiple personalities right now. I genuinely think that there are some people there who really want to report the news and do what's right. And then I think there are people there who are just never Trumpers, have full-blown TDS, and they don't know what the heck they're doing. And this Harry Enton statistical guy, he gets out there on his TV screen and he draws the lines and he does all this. He really summed up what's going on in the House and with these redistricting lines that they're trying to get done. And he also has a really good take on Democrats, which I think we need to continue to pound home. And one of the things Texter during the break said, thank you for pointing all this stuff out about the National Democrat Party. And many of us don't get to hear about that. Hey, that's why we're here. We're here to equip the saints. We want to do those things so that you can have that ammunition in your political weapon, that arrow in your quiver, so that you can go out there and say these things. Because right now, you look on some of all of the major news stations, whether it be MSNBC, you look, PBS and NPR, they're still out there. They still do their thing. The major three news networks, they're still out there doing their thing. And they're still trying to paint this picture. They're still trying to gaslight the heck out of America. They're using all of the techniques, tactics, and procedures that they've developed over the last 30, 40 years to try to manipulate the American people. But we're smarter than that. And it's starting to show up in some of these polls, and there's just no way not to report it. So they put on Brother Harry here, and we're going to listen to this. This is a minute and 52. I'm going to chop it up a little bit, but I just don't want you to believe what I'm saying. I want you to trust me, but I want you to verify what I'm saying. That's how we grow this audience. That's how we grow this radio program, and I'm grateful and thankful to all of you. Harry, take it away.
Yeah, it could make a huge difference. This, in fact, could win or maintain control for the Republicans in the House of Representatives. What are you talking about? Well, Texas has 38 congressional districts. Look at those that Trump won last year by at least 10 percentage points. Under the current lines, it's 25. Under the proposed lines, it's 30. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Our audience can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 more congressional districts just in Texas alone. And remember, when you're doing congressional math, it's not 1, it's 2. So if the Democrats lose 1, the Republicans gain 1, and you actually gain 2 spots. It's weird how that works. So this is not only going to take away 5 from the Democrats, but add 5 to the Republicans. And they are going to lose the Miss Jasmine Crockett. I don't even have a polite way to say that, so I'm just going to say Miss Jasmine Crockett. If you watch her testimony, if you watch what she's doing, you will notice that she doesn't have that accent anymore. And she ain't talking with a tude. She's out there, and she is now, if this map goes through, she is completely redistricted. Her house is no longer in the district that she was serving in before. And I know how this works, and I know how it feels, Democrats. I know how ticked off you are, because I went through the same crap in Illinois. Very safe Republican district up in northern Illinois. Just great conservative people up there. There are a lot of Republicans up there, but they get districted out and sliced up and carved away. And just over time, the Democrats take more and more of it away. And all of a sudden, something that was like, we'll say a very slim majority, R+3, turns into a D+5 in a snap. It's the Thanos snap. Pow. And all of a sudden, the sitting congressman is now having to run 15 miles away from where his closest borderline was to his old district. It's brutal. It's wicked. And that's a whole nother part of this problem. We are crossing lines that our founding fathers must be, if they could see this, they'd be like, what the heck are you guys doing? All of these safeguards and safe stops that were put in place by our founding fathers are now just being like completely wiped off the map. And, you know, it's one of those things where, unfortunately, with the map redistricting, the Democrats did it first. So now the Republicans are saying touche. Just like Senator Schumer back in 2008 gave us the nuclear option. Maybe I need to replay that soundbite for those who don't remember. That's why we're having all the problems we're having with confirmations right now, is because of the rules that Senator Schumer and the Democrats put into play back in 2008. I want to say it's 2008. I'm almost positive that's what it is, which is a whole nother deal there. But let's let Harry continue.
5 potential pickup opportunities for the Republican Party. They are playing hardball at this particular point. And right now, it seems to me that Democrats are actually playing close to the Little League Pee-wee.
So 5 seats. What would 5 seats in Texas do for Republicans in Congress overall?
You might think 5 seats is just 5 seats. But keep in mind this. Margin to spare for the House majority. In 2020, the Democrats had 4 seats. 2022, Republicans had 4 seats. This time around, 2 seats for Republicans out of the 2024 elections. 5 seats can make all the difference in the world. And that is why Republicans in Texas providing 5 pickup seat opportunities could, in fact, make the difference between Republicans losing.
So how is that going to affect Mississippi? Because that's what we care about. We care about Mississippi. Does that mean in 2030 we redraw the map differently? I mean, let's be truthful. Benny Thompson's been there since 1992. And no one wants to run against him because you're going to need $2 to $3 million. We know we've got Mr. Snowball out there who's willing to drive his electric golf cart all over Hinds County and all over the 2nd Congressional District to take out Benny. And I've already offered my services to Mr. Snowball, saying I will make sure that he gets every registered Democrat voter walk list so that he knows exactly where to go. He doesn't have to waste no time. He can go all the people. He can build his army. And we said we'd get him an American flag. We've got some great engineers in this audience. We'll engineer the American flag on the back of his golf cart. Or he said he wanted an electric bike. I don't know about that. We're not paying for that. But getting back to that, how is that going to happen? And not only is it for the congressional seats, but it's also for the state seats, the state reps and the state senators. I know that Mississippi today is saying that there's a brain drain and our population has gone down less than 1%. That's just how Mississippi is. If you look at Mississippi, we've been pretty much flat lined. We'll go up a little bit, we'll go down a little bit, but we're basically hovering at our population. But I guarantee you, if things keep going the way they're going, you're going to see massive growth in Mississippi. And that's all in the second hour. But I want to continue with what Mr. Harry Ensign's saying.
Losing control of the House of Representatives and maintaining control of the House of Representatives.
And some voting shifts within Texas might be adding fuel to this.
Exactly right. They wouldn't necessarily be able to do this if, in fact, Republicans, Donald Trump did not do so much better among Latino voters last time around than he did in 2020, because 4 of the pickup opportunities are majority Hispanic seats.
And what's that say? I haven't even touched immigration yet. We haven't even talked about the mother and daughter who were killed in New Jersey by an illegal alien who already had 2 DUIs and an arrest for assault, I believe it was. Oh, nope, not assault. Simple domestic violence back in 2020, June 25th, 2023. March 20th, 2025, arrested for DUI. 17 April 2025, arrested for DUI again. And then he gets in a 3rd DUI accident and kills 2 people. Illegal alien. Raul Luna Perez, Mexico. That's why we want these people out of our country. That family is shattered and broken. And they need our prayer. Democrats, how do you justify having this joker in our country? It's in New Jersey. So even though he was arrested twice, because New Jersey said it was a sanctuary state, they would not turn him over to ICE. Imagine if they would have turned him over to ICE on March 20th, 2025, after his first DUI. Nope, the Democrats kept him here. Imagine if they would have turned him over after his second DUI on April 17th, 2025. Nope. New Jersey's sanctuary city won't work with ICE. And now we have two women, a mom and a young girl, who are no longer here on Earth. Look, I'm just telling you all right now, you are not a racist if you want these illegal aliens to be gone. You are not a racist if you think that our country should have a strong border. Don't believe what the liberals want you to think. They want to make you feel. They don't want you to think. They want you to feel empathy and compassion. Well, how about empathy and compassion for the Americans? Oh, Andy, they support our economy. Well, that's great. Guess what? Americans can support economy too. We're going to need so many construction workers, laborers. We're going to need so many people who are plumbers, electricians, road work. There's going to be so much work and opportunity. President Trump, and we're not even talk about the tariffs yet. The tariffs are blowing up. I'm long. I got to take a break. We'll be right back. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB.
Scream Club. I'm Tommy Lahren. More next.
Sponsored by AxeCap Ventures. America, listen up. Gold prices are breaking records. With inflation raging and central banks hoarding, every American should own gold. And like President Trump said, whoever holds the gold makes the rules. AxeCap Ventures owns one of Nevada's largest undeveloped gold deposits and trades for pennies on the dollar. This could be your way to ride the gold boom. AxeCap trades under GARLF on the OTC. Visit axecapventures.ca today.
Is riddled with migrants, gun violence, and overall lawlessness, and now they have a new annoying problem, also likely formed and founded by liberals. It's a scream club. The city's most privileged group of crybabies have formalized their whiny behavior into an actual scream club. Basically, this group of mostly white and likely liberal women gather together to scream into the abyss for a cathartic release. They quite literally band together in shared anger and frustration and yell out at Lake Michigan. Why are these people always so bitter and jaded and unpleasant? If you have time to go meet up with other folks to scream at the lake, your life probably isn't that bad. You're not that oppressed, and you should get over yourselves. You know, there are plenty of improvements to be made in Chicago, and I sure hope these screaming folks would devote the passion, energy, and effort into something more productive for Chicago and mankind. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show, Tommy Lahren is Fearless, at Outkick.com.
If you've had an accident, remember Clinton Body Shop. We work for you, not your insurance company. Don't be misled by someone telling you that you will have to pay more than your deductible. Our shops hold multiple certifications from the makers of today's vehicles. We are the longest running ICAR Gold Class certified repair facility in Mississippi. We know how to repair your vehicle, and we will work with your insurance company on your behalf. In Clinton and in Richland, we work for you. We take pride in perfection.
Acme Pizza and Daiquiris at Fannin Mart on the Res is quickly becoming Rankin County's go-to spot for pizza, burgers, pasta, appetizers, daiquiris, and more. Try their famous Wheel of Flavor pizza. You can add up to 3 different specialty pizzas onto one pie, such as the Margarita, Sergeant Pepperoni, Acme Beat Buster, Pig, 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 Pesto Chicken, the Old Mexico, the Supreme, or hey, just build your own custom pizza. Acme also has a full bar with 9 different frozen daiquiris to choose from. Open daily at 4 p.m., Acme Pizza and Daiquiris.
Antique Mall of the South has 14,000 square feet of pristine, clean floor space. Home to beautiful, timeless antique treasures. Antique Mall of the South is open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5. Check them out online at antiquemallofthesouth.com or go to the Antique Mall of the South Facebook page. You can also read the dozens of 5-star reviews online. Come see for yourself at Antique Mall of the South in Ridgeland. Now open Monday to Saturday, 10 to 5. That's Antique Mall of the South, Highway 51 in Ridgeland.
This month, UrgeVet Emergency Vets of Madison is celebrating 5 incredible years of serving your pets, and we couldn't have done it without you.
From late night emergencies to weekend worries, we've been here caring for your pets when your regular vet isn't available.
Join us in celebrating 5 years of compassion, expertise, and tail wags.
Drop by for giveaways, treats, and more, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for all the fun. Located at 15 Olympic Way in Madison, you can call us at 601-790-1918.
UrgeVet, always here when your pet needs us most.
Here's a tip for buyers from RE/MAX Connection real estate agent Rita Jensen.
Buyers need to be ready. Start your mortgage process. If you're not paying cash and there's a mortgage, you need to go ahead and start that before you ever go look at a house. You walk into a house and you fall in love with it, and that's the one you want. You've not even started the process, and there may be multiple bids on it, and other people are sending pre-qualifying letters with their offers, then you're dead in the water. You offer what you are willing to pay for this property, and know that if you don't get it, you're okay with that, and you can walk away.
RitaJensen.net.
Oh, yeah. You are back on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We're streaming on Rumble, X, YouTube, that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't like saying the name, at WYAB.com. Appreciate everybody who's tuning in and listening in that way. If you wouldn't mind liking the stream and giving it a share out there so that we can grow the audience, it would be much appreciated. Much appreciated. You know, that Harry Enton guy, he's just putting the numbers out there. He's got a kind of an interesting delivery, but he's actually one of the few people who's actually tapped in to see what's going on out there. It's incredible. And we got to take advantage of this. He had a whole nother segment on Trump by the numbers. And my point with this is that it is getting to the point to where the pendulum is not just swinging back the other side. It's having a permanent change in America. And the point that I really want to make and drive home is that my brothers and sisters in the Black community, you are welcome in the Republican Party. We want to have a big open party where everybody is welcome and truly, quote unquote, inclusive. You are not wrong for wanting to make sure fathers, Black men, you are not wrong for wanting your daughters to go into the girls' bathroom and not worry about some sick freak in the bathroom changing just so he can check out your daughter. And if that gets you mad as heck, welcome to the party, brother. We want you here. Mamas, you don't want your daughters going and competing against a male athlete. At some point, we, as not the Black community, the white community, whatever community you want to put in it, we got to wake up and get back to the common sense. We can't be naive. At some point, we've got to say enough is enough. There are things that are happening in Jackson that are going to be coming up that are going to make it even worse, and everybody's going to herald it in like it's some great deal, which we will talk about in the next hour. I just want to make sure that everybody hears a little bit of what Harry Enton had to say about Trump, and he's tearing up the rule book in his second term.
The Donald Trump administration is arguably the most influential this century, and probably as well dating back a good portion of the last century as well. Love it, like it, lump it. Trump is remaking in the United States of America. Let's talk about tariffs first, right? There's all this talk that Donald Trump always chickens out when it comes to tariffs. No tacos for Trump. The effective tariff rate, get this, it's 18%, the highest since the FDR administration in the 1930s, up from, get this, just 2% last year. From just 2% last year, we're talking about an effective tariff rate level
get this, 9 times as high this year than last year. But it's not just on tariffs, which of course.
Remember when tariffs were going to destroy the world economy? Ladies and gentlemen, do you realize up until 1913, I think is when the income tax is? If somebody correct me, our only income was tariffs. We didn't tax our income. Other countries paid it for our government, for our military. And now Trump has got it up to 18%. Look, we might have real surpluses here next year. We're starting to see some surpluses this year. I think May we actually had a surplus. June we did not. It's too soon to see what July did with the tariffs. But we're actually having, and this is not like, millions of dollars. This is 20, 30 billion. And there are many people who did not agree with Donald Trump. They were afraid about it, but you have to acknowledge it. And remember last week on Friday how the stock market went down and you had all these liberals freaking out and making all these wild assertions. Look at assertions. Look at what the market's doing today. It's up. The left wants you to go on these volatile mood swings. Fellas, do we like hanging around people with mood swings? Ladies, do you like hanging around guys who are moody? No. This is a long game. Politics is a long game. So play it. What's being set up for the next president of the United States, the 48th president of the United States, whoever that is, they are going to have a good deal. I could actually see next year paying down some of our debt, actually paying it down, lowering the balance with lower federal interest rates. If the Fed got off its butt and didn't play their TDS card every meeting, we'd be all right. And if the House and Senate do their job and fully implement all of the DOGE cuts, we can save this country. We can actually do something about it. And it's just the way it has to be done. People do not like the way Trump's doing it because he's got an attitude. He's got a personality. He's got ego. If you want to follow the biblical worldview, you'd probably say that you wouldn't like that. But we are in a fallen world, so we got to go roll with what we get. And thank God for President Trump. He's doing great. Let's hear what else Harry had to say about all these different areas that Trump is completely changing the economic. I'm curious to see, and I have friends in the Black community. I'm going to ask them what they think about the tariffs. Do you feel it? Do you feel like the country's starting to swing and turn in a different direction? I'd like to know.
Of course, Donald Trump ran on, in which you're seeing a tremendously influential presidency. What about immigration? Of course, Trump ran and has always run on a very hawkish immigration platform. Get this, 2025 net migration in
this is crazy.
The United States down at least 60% from last year. In fact, we may be heading for the first time in at least 50 years in which we have net negative migration into the United States.
People are leaving the United States. The United States population is shrinking, not because we're having less babies, but because people are leaving who shouldn't be here in the first place. How about that? That's what we need to do. That's what we need to have happen. If we do that, that means we're not spending as much money on illegal aliens for education, healthcare, housing, food, other social services, transportation, jail, legal. This is all good stuff. And again, this helps not just the white community, but this helps the Black community. This helps the Hispanic community. You go talk to some Hispanics who have legally immigrated here, and the true ordeal they had to go through all the right wickets, to go through all the steps legally. And then you're having all these people just flood in who jump the line. You know, you'll be at a store and all of a sudden you'll see a line jumper. It fires you up.
And last year, of course, in 2024, the net migration in the U.S. was 2.8 million. This year, we might be talking about negative net migration. My goodness gracious. Now,
he's listening to the Andrew Gosser show. My goodness gracious.
Of course, this is part of the larger story, as I was mentioning. We're talking about immigration, net migration. We're talking about the effective tariff rate. But get this, how is Donald Trump doing it? Well, he is signing a ton of executive orders. Get this, 180, the most in a year.
And that's where we're going to cut him off for this segment. But yes, he has signed a lot of executive orders. He has. But think about this. While he's in office, all those executive orders, they stay intact. But when the next president comes in, they automatically can be washed away in a blink of an eye. That's why it's so important that we reach out to our Congress critters here in Mississippi. And if you have influence in other ones, them too, and let them know that you want the Doge cuts codified. You want the Trump executive orders codified. That's why we like Mr. Burchett in Tennessee. He is trying to get this all codified. It's really, really important. We're going to take our last break of the hour. We will be right back on the Andrew Gosser Show, 103.9 WYAB.
When you need backup power, you need a backup power generator from Mississippi Energy Services. Never again have to worry about being without heat, air conditioning, or all your frozen items spoiling because your energy was lost. You got backup power now, and it's so reliable, you'll be pleased with Mississippi Energy Services. Online at msenergy.us.
Can anyone in Jackson say the name of Bravo, Broad Street, and Sal and Mickey's Catering Company?
Yes.
Let's find out.
Mangia Bini.
Mangia Ben.
Mangia Benet.
It actually is Mangia Bene. Mangia Bene. It's Mangia Bene. It means eat well in Italian, and it's the catering group for Bravo, Broad Street, and Sal and Mickey's.
Mangia Bene Catering. Choose us, and you'll always eat well. 3 restaurants, 1 call. Mangia Bene Catering.
Mangia Bene.
Y'all come see us at Flora Animal Hospital, your trusted hometown vet. We offer a wide variety of veterinary services, including boarding. Dr. Kaylee McCary is a Madison County native who has been serving the Flora community and surrounding areas since 2013. She leads our team of highly trained and compassionate women. We are located at 740 Highway 49 in the Cotton Exchange Plaza. Call us today at 601-879-3222. At Flora Animal Hospital, we treat your pets like our own.
Hi, Kim Wade here. Are you craving a home-cooked meal without the hassle? Come over to McBee's Bar and Grill in Ridgeland for their Blue Plate lunch specials. Served up every weekday, at McBee's it's a different entree every day. Chicken spaghetti on Mondays, beef tip Tuesday, pork chop Wednesday, spaghetti Thursday, and catfish Fridays. And McBee's Blue Plate lunch comes with 2 classic southern sides and cornbread or a roll. McBee's specials are served every weekday from 11 to 2. McBee's, buzzing the res since 1982.
Tools, paint, mowers, equipment parts, service, and rentals are all under one roof at Hometown Hardware in Flora. Hometown Hardware has what you need and professional staff to steer you in the right direction. Hometown Hardware carries top brands like Hustler, Steel, and Milwaukee. Hometown Hardware even has a full lumber yard, paint matching, pool water testing, propane filling, key cutting, and much more. Hometown Hardware, Highway 49 in Flora.
Look, we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show. We got to move. Flying to Illinois to protest gerrymandering maps is like going to Louisiana and protesting crawfish. It just doesn't make sense. Go somewhere else. There are other blue states out there that don't gerrymander too much. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Maybe Virginia, but Virginia's not a state; it's a commonwealth. And then the text lines are awesome. This coming from Brother Rick. I've been saying we've been dumbed down, but that's not right. We have been domesticated. We fear the point. There is no instinct of fear of what's going to harm us. 30 years ago, youth versus today's college grad in a survival situation. Who are you putting your money on? That's what's happening in our politics system. He's exactly right. You've got these kids running around getting these degrees in African lesbian studies and just other degrees that are completely worthless. And by the way, a college degree in underwater basket weaving, at least that produces an object that's somewhat tangible. So we can't necessarily throw in the underwater basket weaving. But Rick, you're totally right. These kids today are so soft. It's like, I don't understand how we're not teaching our kids to garden and grow their own food with the way that the food is going. It's crazy. Man, there are so many other stories. The blue trickle. We haven't even talked about the blue trickle yet. They're forecasting this big blue wave, and now they're saying it's going to be a blue trickle. Now, will that trickle be enough to get them over the line? We'll have to wait and see. But it's just out there. There's so much going on. You're tuned into the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We're at the top of the hour. We'll be right back.
On the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Cammie McCormick. Dozens of Texas Democratic lawmakers have fled the state to deny a quorum to Republicans, hoping to push through a redistricting plan. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is hosting several in her state.
I hosted them at the governor's residence early this morning to make sure they're well fed with New York food.
Legal analyst Jessica Levinson says the Republican redistricting plan likely would survive court challenges.
Drawing district lines so that a party either keeps or increases power, those particular claims are not something called justiciable by federal courts, meaning the Supreme Court has said, don't come to a federal judge with a legal claim that a line or a number of lines are a political gerrymander.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott has ordered the Democratic lawmakers back to the state by 3 p.m. today. President Trump said today he will substantially raise tariffs on India if it continues to buy Russian oil. He posted on Truth Social, India doesn't care how many people in Ukraine are being killed by what he called the Russian war machine. He'd already imposed a 25% tariff on India and said it would face an unspecified penalty for buying Russian oil. Switzerland said today it's ready to make an offer to the U.S. to avoid steep tariffs of 39%. In Gaza, more Palestinians died trying to get food aid. Reporter Robert Berger has more on the outrage that followed videos of 2 hostages struggling with hunger.
Hamas says it is willing to allow the Red Cross to visit these hostages if Israel opens a humanitarian corridor to all of Gaza and doesn't conduct airstrikes during the visits by the Red Cross.
Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu said today he will convene a cabinet meeting later this week to decide how to proceed in Gaza. Vicky Barker reports a boat carrying migrants has capsized off the coast of Yemen. At least 68 people are confirmed dead.
The UN's International Organization for Migration, or IOM, says 157 people were on board the vessel. Most would be migrants from Ethiopia. Only 32 have been rescued so far.
The extreme weather in Europe continues, from brutal heat in Spain and Portugal to an unusually fierce storm in the UK, which has disrupted travel.
What can we do? The weather, there's nothing we can do about that, is there?
A bit stuck in no man's land.
High winds disrupted train services and toppled trees in Scotland and northern England. The storm is called Flora. On Wall Street, stocks are bouncing back after last week's losses because of the jobs report. This is CBS News.
Progressive Insurance, with insurance for cars, home, boat, motorcycles, RVs, and commercial vehicles at 1-800-PROGRESSIVE and Progressive.com.
Do you hear that? Asthma triggers are everywhere, from dust mites, pet dander, and pollen to smog and smoke. An asthma attack can strike anywhere, anytime. Be prepared with quick-acting Primatene Mist. Clinically proven to open airways quickly. It's the #1 FDA-approved asthma inhaler available over the counter. Primatene Mist. Breathe easy again. Use as directed.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial.
Visit mintmobile.com/radio. Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy.
News this hour is brought to you by the Rusty Healy Agency in Madison. Call Landon Thompson at 601-856-3681 to request a quote or learn more.
It wasn't going to stay gone forever. 92 this afternoon and mostly sunny. 72 overnight and it's clear. 92 with a 40% chance for afternoon storms Tuesday. Then the heat comes back, says the National Weather Service.
The heat returns with highs climbing back into the low and middle 90s.
That's Wednesday afternoon.
Chances for showers and storms will remain isolated to scattered at best during the afternoon and early evening hours each day.
You've got news on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis. A fatal 3-car wreck in Copiah County Sunday morning about 3:15. The Sheriff's Department says it happened on Lily Road. The condition of the driver of one of the cars was not known, but the person killed was ID'd as 18-year-old Ken Xavier Brown. Another person had to be flown to the hospital at UMMC. In a fatal wreck in the Delta, which was late Wednesday on Highway 8 east of Cleveland, the Highway Patrol now says they believe 26-year-old Haley Cummins hit the back of a LaCrosse being driven by 32-year-old Taurus Kinney, who died in the wreck. Her Buick then hit a Dodge Ram. Friday, Cummins was arrested, charged with leaving the scene of a wreck causing injury or death. Another shootout in Jackson. This time, JPD says it happened when 2 groups who had some mutual beefs let their trigger fingers do the talking on the way to a party on Redwood Drive Saturday evening. At least 1 person was shot. He was arrested, and 4 others, too, all charged with shooting into an occupied dwelling. Several houses and cars all bore the damage from those bullets. 2 kids went missing in Pearl Saturday evening, but police say the 8 and 10-year-olds are home safe thanks to a massive search effort from several police departments. More news in 1 hour on 103.9 WYAB. I'm Chris Davis.
The views and opinions expressed in this program are the individual views and opinions of the people expressing them and do not necessarily reflect those of this radio station, its parent, affiliated, or related entities, agents, or employees.
Yep, you are locked, loaded, and ready for launch on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. The phone-in number is 601-879-0002. The text line is 601-879-5060. It is Monday, August 4th, 2025, second hour. We are rocking and rolling. If you would, give me a follow on X. It's just at Andrew Gosser, ANDREWGASSER. And life is good. The naive believe everything that they hear, but the sensible person considers his steps. And that's what we're just trying to do today. We're just not being naive and believing everything that's being sent our way, but we are talking about it, and then we're figuring out whether or not, hey, this is a good way to go, or maybe we don't want to do that way. There was just so much in the last hour, and I could sit there and beat on that, but I want to give you as many different data points as we possibly can. And this one's coming from Politico. More like a blue trickle. Dems are hoping for a blue wave that might not happen. This is the first time I've ever heard like the warning sirens go off in such a way for the Democrats. You know, you've got Chuck Schumer out there just saying some of the most outlandish, outrageous things, talking about how Trump submarined the nominations of his appointees to important cabinet positions inside the government. Isn't it crazy? We're over 180 days and Republicans still can't figure out how to get all these nominees approved. And I know my political friends are going to say, Andy, you know how the Senate works. You know, look, I appreciate the history. I appreciate the tradition. But we've got to get these people into office so they can start doing stuff. You know, I'm not saying this is like the greatest government bureaucracy, but it's my personal favorite. Again, it's not the greatest, but I love NASA. And NASA is going to go with over a year without having an administrator. You've got a bunch of bureaucratic temporary people operating NASA. And that's a big budget. And there's stuff that's got to get done there. We've got moon exploration. We've got Mars exploration. We've got solar exploration. There's billions and billions of dollars just being piddled away, and we don't even have an administrator there. We've got judges that need to be confirmed. What's going on there? Nothing. I really wish our senators would just say, Leader Thune, or not Leader Thune, that'd be incorrect. President Thune, because he's the president of the Senate, right? Can we just keep everybody here in Washington, D.C. until we get all these done? Let's not go on a vacay. Let's get this stuff done. But it's not. And apparently the Senate will have a bunch of pro forma check-ins during the month of August, so President Trump will not even be able to utilize the recess appointment. It's really horrible. When we and I'm not saying that we have to agree with everything that President Trump says and does, but give the man the people he needs to execute his mission. We're going on 7.5 months into this administration, and it's going pretty good. So many court victories, so many victories on tariffs, victories on immigration. The Democrats don't even know what they stand for right now. They are so lost, according to the Politico. And these are not like right-wing pollsters. I don't see a blue wave, said Matt Taglia, the senior director of Emerson College Polling, a nonpartisan group that routinely administers political opinion surveys. It's more like a blue trickle. I would also say that they're not a nonpartisan. They routinely 3 to 4 points to the left. So when these guys are to the left and they're saying this, you know it's bad. The blue trickle. But we're not going to have the blue trickle in Mississippi. Why? Because we got some good things going on in Mississippi. We've got a great governor.
But looking back to 2012 and 13, we instituted school choice for our students with special needs. We allowed students in failing districts to go to public charter schools. We changed the way in which we rated our school district. We consolidated school districts to get more money in the classroom. And while some states lowered standards, Mississippi did the complete opposite. In 2000,
Governor, I got to correct you on one thing, and I'm a fan, but when we got rid of the U.S. history test in our high school graduation requirement, that was an L.
In 2013, we passed the Literacy-Based Promotion Act. Some of you may know it as the third grade reading gate. We made a statement. We said, we aren't passing kids that aren't ready. We made a commitment to go back to the basics and use phonics-based learning techniques. We said that between pre-kindergarten and third grade, Mississippi students should be learning to read.
Education, absolute game changer right there. Absolute game changer. It turned out really, really good. But that's not just education. And Clay Edwards, by the way, has a very great point on this. And I've actually had to reconsider some of my thoughts on education because I want the money to follow the child. But if that money's going to follow the child, it's either following them to the public school that they live in, the district that they live in, or a private school wherever they want to go. It can be a charter school, it can be a Christian school, it could be whatever you want to do. But Clay and a lot of other people have really good point. They don't want to take all of the Jackson money that's supposed to go to the public schools and just bring that into Rankin County. They don't want it. And I think that's fair. It's again, and this goes back to the culture rot. We're going to get through the good stuff first, but then we got to get into the culture rot. But it's just going good. And I bring up points where they say that Mississippi's got a brain drain, losing popularity or population. The economy stinks. Listen to this.
Site Selection Magazine just ranked us number 7 in the country for business climate states. And it shows in 2024, Mississippi had the lowest unemployment rate in state history. We had the second fastest growing economy in the entire United States. And we had the 4th fastest growing per capita income in all of America.
And Mr. Unknown Texter, I know you're liberal and I appreciate that. It's not hard to have those kinds of gains when you've been so poor for so long. Hey, you want to know what? That's a fair criticism. That's a fair criticism. But what did the conservative leadership of Mississippi do about it? They're having real wins and gains. I think it's because of the leadership of Tate Reeves and Jason White, and you might not agree with me on that, and that's okay. But I think it's that leadership. I think it's Andy Gibson and Shad White pushing from the outside in, making everybody run to the right. It's good stuff is happening. Good stuff is happening in Mississippi. And unfortunately, the local news media, whether it be television, radio, or print, will not tell us about it. So that's why we have the Andrew Gosser Show and WYAB. We're not afraid to say what needs to be said.
You only attract over $35 billion in new private sector investment if you're a good investment. Mississippi stock is going through the roof, and more people are wanting in on the action. And honestly, I don't blame them.
I know that people get sick and tired of hearing Andrew Gosser talk about how great Mississippi is, but it is. This weekend, I had 2 of my friends from Illinois call and say, Andy, we need to get out of Illinois. I'm like, why? He goes, it's just so bad. And they're like, how's Mississippi? And I'm like, oh, I love it. But don't come down here and bring any of those Illinois politics that is in your brain, because we don't want that down here. And the one guy, he was kind of offended because he's more of a liberal. And I'm like, I'm serious, man. Why are you going to bring down the cancer that's in Illinois or California or New York or wherever, and then start festering that here? Don't want it. This is breaking. The governor of New York has just accepted some of the Texas Democrat state representatives and is hosting them at the New York governor's mansion and feeding them New York food for delaying the will of the people of Texas. They're just so far gone. Meanwhile, we got Tate Reeves talking up Mississippi. Let's go.
You only get $10 billion from Amazon to employ Mississippians on next generation AI infrastructure if your state is the real deal.
Rednecks, shotguns, whiskey, and AI only in Mississippi.
You're only the 4th state in America to enter into a partnership with the world leader in artificial intelligence and the world's most valuable company, the first ever to have a $4 trillion market cap, if you have what's needed to succeed. Thank you, NVIDIA.
How about that? Mississippi's home is one of the homes of the largest market cap company in the world, 4 trillion. Trillion, that's trillion with a T. That's a lot of scratch. I'm curious to figure out how we're going to get all this energy. I still think small nuclear reactors is the way to go, but that's down the road another year and a half. We'll figure it out.
This is a statement win for our future. My friends, speaking of artificial intelligence, when it comes to reporting on Mississippi's economy, the national media consistently gets it wrong, and they rarely get it right. These Yankee reporters are the very definition of artificial intelligence.
Mr. Governor, I am not a Yankee. I was a Yankee by birth, but I'm Southern by grace. Please don't target me. But he's absolutely right. These Yankees don't know what the heck's going on. These Yankees can't farm. These Yankees are sitting there thinking that their job is important by opening up a laptop and doing data analysis. Am I saying all Yankees are that way? No. Am I saying the majority of them are? Yep. I do. I've seen it. It's funny. I got Rumble texter checking in. We don't need it. Leave liberalism in Illinois. Absolutely, Mike. We do not want that here. I've been truthful with some of my liberal friends who were elected with me up there, and they were thinking about coming down here. And I just told them straight up, you got to go to church on Sunday. And they actually believed me, which was kind of funny. They didn't move here. They ended up going to, I believe, Arizona. But the whole point with that is that the culture that we have here, for the most part, is really good. And what the Mississippi GOP are doing as far as the overhead thing is pretty good. Am I saying that they're perfect? No. All of my conservative friends are like, Andy, you can't be saying that. I'm just saying this is where we're at. If we want to bring it more to the right, then we have to get involved in local politics. Like Grip and Grin this Wednesday, 11:30, Mama Hamels, Madison, Mississippi. If you know, you know. You should go there. Sadly, I will not be there. Why? I'll be on the radio. The Hinds County Republican Party is going to actually have an event coming up at the end of this month in August on the 25th. It's a Monday night. I'm going to be heading to that. I hope you all, if you're in Hinds County and you're Republican and conservative, you need to go to this. You need to drag all your friends, and I'll get the information out. I'm going to put an email out tonight, and I'll invite everybody, and I'll talk this up. Because there's way too much good stuff to be going on that we cannot not celebrate it. But when we get back, we got to talk about the culture rot. We got to talk about the death, the lack of respect for life that is Jackson, Mississippi. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We will be right back.
Of eyeglasses, computer glasses, or sunglasses that fit you, your lifestyle, and your budget every day at Eye Gear Optical, 2630 Highway 80 East in Pearl, and on the web at eyegearoptical.com.
Here's John and Corey Ravenstein.
She is extraordinary, rare, and one of a kind. Shouldn't her diamond be as well?
At Juniker Jewelry Company, we only offer natural diamonds, genuine creations of nature, formed over 1 billion years ago, not lab-grown imitations.
They're rare, authentic, and one of a kind, just like her.
We are Mississippi's largest direct diamond importer of natural diamonds, every size, shape, and price range.
All at the guaranteed best price in the state.
And flexible financing options for qualified buyers to make it easy.
So giving her a gorgeous natural diamond that will become a true family heirloom from Juniker's, it's more affordable than you think.
Doesn't a one-of-a-kind love deserve a one-of-a-kind natural diamond?
Because she's not synthetic.
She's not a copy.
She's worth the real thing.
Real love, real diamonds, naturally at Juniker's.
Juniker Jewelry Company, Mississippi's direct diamond importer. 1485 Highland Colony Parkway, just south of 463 in Madison, and junikerjewelry.com.
When you want your pine trees to grow a little happier and a lot healthier, call on Holcomb Aerial Service. When your crops need dusting, think Holcomb Aerial Service. From the farm to your own pine forest, Holcomb Aerial Service will stimulate growth, eradicate pests, and preserve the value of your crops. Call Holcomb Aerial Service at 601-668-6200. That's 601-668-6200. Americans for Prosperity is Mississippi's and the country's leading grassroots organization dedicated to promoting economic freedom and personal liberty. Americans for Prosperity advocates for limited government, free market policies, and empowering individuals. When given freedom and opportunity, Americans are capable of extraordinary things. If you are ready to make a difference in our community and want to get involved, then visit americansforprosperity.org. Be a part of positive change at americansforprosperity.org. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
And we are off and running in the second hour of the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB, streaming on Rumble, streaming on X, streaming on YouTube, streaming on that social media platform that begins with a F, but we don't like saying the name, fam. And also WYAB.com. Look, it's just came across my Twitter feed, thanks to unknown texter. It's alleged that Adam Schiff has visited Epstein Island 78 times. I mean, dude, what is he doing on that island that he's going 78 times? 78 times. He's going 3-4 times a year for 15, 20 years. There is so much there. And, you know, what President Trump, well, let me put it like this. If anybody watched SummerSlam last night, WWE, you saw one of the greatest wrestling works ever. Seth Rollins, when it's gone, injury, knee bad, not going to be able to cash in his money in the bank. He comes out there after CM Punk wins, cashes it in, and trades it in. What a work. People said Brock Lesnar never coming back. He comes back at the end of night too. Those are works, and they are the WWE is playing their audience, and they're loving it. And I genuinely believe the longer this goes on, I genuinely believe Elon and Trump are pulling a work over on the Democrats and many conservatives. Many conservatives. It's a work. Look, I don't want to be Mr. Doom Scroller, Negative Nancy, but I do think we got to talk about the death culture that's Jackson, Mississippi. And there might be some other places around Mississippi that are this bad, but the culture that is in Jackson, Mississippi, you want to call it black culture, ghetto culture, Jackson culture, I don't really care what it is. It's culture that is destroying people. Gun violence is just out of control, and no amount of gun control will ever stop what's going on in Jackson. You can try to take away all the guns. It's never going to happen. You can take away all the guns from the people who are abiding the law, and then all the criminals will get the guns, and then it'll be even worse. It's just sad to me to see this happen. August 3rd at 5:27 p.m. Jackson police are investigating. This is from WLBT, and a few of these stories are from WLBT just because they were the best ones that had the most concise write-up that I felt were good enough to share with y'all. The incident occurred at the 3600 block of Lambton Avenue. Clay, if you're listening, can we go drive down to Lambton, do an on-scene report? That might be worth doing. Maybe not. The case is still under investigation and could not confirm whether it was a homicide. No arrests have been made. The victim was an 8-year-old boy. I mean, I want to sit here and like totally rail on it, but it's almost like it's an oppression. It is a demonic oppression over that community, and it's just not breaking. I don't know how to do that, but that's bad. And then you had a gang shootout at the 4500 block of Redwood Drive. Clay, can we go to that one maybe? Do we want to go to the 4500 block of Redwood? I don't know. I've been to some pretty sketchy spots in Chicago. I'm not saying that we'd be as safe, but we could roll there and just say, what the heck is happening? And really, what can other communities do to try to help this community fix itself? How do we improve the schools in Jackson? I tell you what, I hear crazy stuff about Jackson Public Schools. And I get told things, and I just sit there, and part of me wants to come on the microphone and just waylay it, and another part of me is like, okay, what's it going to do if I point out the obvious? They're struggling to have teachers. They've got to shut down schools. Cell phone policy, apparently there's nothing written, and they're just telling teachers to do stuff with their kids' cell phones. It's going to get the teachers in trouble. You got new administrators. I mean, they shut down all these schools. I would really like to know how many administrative positions were lost. Maybe I should FOIA that. Maybe that's what I'll do this afternoon. Gang shootout. 5 people were involved. Using the Clay Edwards vowel law of crime in Jackson, Mississippi. Anything over 4 vowels, that's a problem. There were 2 people with over 4 vowels. It was Mr. Octavius Robinson of 18, Rushoderick Williams, 19, Jamoris Lewis, 21, Deshaun Antonio Gross, 21, and Desmond Hudson, 22. A 5th suspect who was shot during the incident was taken to the hospital to be treated for his injuries. Didn't say who the suspect was. But apparently there were a lot of shots fired. No one, thankfully, was killed. And, our Second Amendment right, that's got to remain supreme. We've got to make sure that we continue to defend that. But my gosh, what the heck is going down there? And I'm not suggesting that we even try to enforce any gun laws down there. I'm trying to figure out, how do we break this cycle of poverty and despair and homelessness and recklessness and promiscuity. Oh gosh, being promiscuous, darn it. How do we break that? I'm not a pastor down there. I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. But I do know that it's going to kill more people, and it's only going to create this bigger and bigger divide. I know that there are a lot of parents who live in Jackson who don't like the public schools, who want to do something different. I mean, that might be a quote unquote true business opportunity to open up a charter school down there. And just have the money follow the kids to pay for a teacher. I don't know what the Jackson Public School teacher salary pays. I do know that Mississippi is starting to follow that Illinois model of really cranking up salaries that are going to cause a complete flip-flop, and you will have an education system in Mississippi like Illinois. It's brutal. Trust me, we do not want that system here, but we do want school choice. Can we build more charter schools in Jackson? Can we build more private schools? Can we support the economic development for that? When we get back, I'm going to talk about, and we didn't even talk about the firefighter and getting jumped on a call. That's absolutely ridiculous. I have friends who are firefighters, and they get some really bad deals. They see more messed up stuff than most people. They've had to say we couldn't save this person in a fire. And we all have seen the pure despair and hopelessness when a mother or father loses their child. It's horrible. They're angry, they're outraged. I had one of my buddies in Virginia Beach. He was a military firefighter. And he was telling me about how he couldn't get something. They couldn't save this kid. And the mom just threw herself down, wailed, went to go hold him, and she was hitting him in the arm, and he was just hugging her. No charges for that. But when you put 3 firefighters and go into the hospital, that's a situation that needs to be investigated. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. And when we get back, we're going to talk about some community development that's going to just hose everything up even more. We'll be right back.
WYAB.
Efficient and trouble-free payroll processing is crucial to a business's success, and a lot of businesses are struggling with it. PeopleLease, a local payroll provider, not only offers top-of-the-line software, but also provides on-demand payroll support services. With PeopleLease, you're never on your own at every step of your payroll process. PeopleLease has the expertise in managing payroll challenges and will work hard to understand your business and employees. That's what makes PeopleLease the perfect choice for you and your business. Learn more online at peoplelease.com.
Looking for the ultimate reset for your body and skin? At Core Wellness and Recovery, you'll find next level services like cryotherapy, red light therapy, infrared sauna, body sculpting, and advanced facials. Whether you want to boost performance, recover faster, or just feel your best, Core Wellness and Recovery delivers real results with zero downtime. From muscle relief to radiant skin, this is self-care redefined. Come experience the future of wellness, Core Wellness and Recovery, just off Highland Colony in Ridgeland. Book now at corewellnessandrecovery.com.
CBS News Brief. Democratic lawmakers fled Texas over a Republican redistricting plan. Some ended up in New York, where Governor Kathy Hochul says they're welcome.
Americans don't want a system that's stacked against them. They believe in fairness. It's fundamental.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he will convene a cabinet meeting to decide on how to proceed in Gaza. The BBC's Yolan Nell.
The Prime Minister is said to have come to the conclusion that Hamas is not interested in agreeing a ceasefire and hostage release deal, as has been discussed through these indirect talks that had been going on in Qatar. They seem to have reached some kind of an impasse in the past week or so.
The massive Gifford fire in Central California has grown to 50,000 acres. CBS's Jason Allen.
This is not an area where there are high population centers, but there are homes, there are ranches. Firefighters, 1,000 that are working on this right now, have been trying to protect more than 400 structures, and there are evacuation orders in place.
CBS News Brief, I'm Cammie McCormick.
Green's Tire and Auto on Ridgewood Road in Ridgeland can do it all. Is your check engine light on? Take it to Green's. Air not blowing cold anymore? Take it to Green's. Squeaky brakes, bald tires, misaligned front end? Take it to Green's. Green's Tire and Auto can do it all. Your car can operate just like new again when you take it to Green's. Green's Tire and Auto, Ridgewood Road in Ridgeland. Take it to Green's. 601-957-0201.
Health has always been reactive, focused on fixing problems as they happen. But with Blue Primary Care, we're taking a proactive approach, working with you to help you understand your health and empowering you to be healthy. It's time to prioritize you, your health, and your life. The results? Less worrying and more living. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Mississippi. It's good to be blue.
You had an accident. Now you're here in Aftermarket Parts, Insurance Company Preferred, and a lot of other noise that serves to confuse you. Call Clinton Body Shop. We'll keep it simple. We are certified by 19 vehicle makers to assure you get a proper repair. We care about your investment and your safety. Call the shop who only wants one partner in the repair process, and that's you, the owner. In Clinton and in Richland, we work for you. We take pride in perfection.
If you're a parent or grandparent, you should know that even though Mississippi is ranked as the unhealthiest state in the country, we have the highest vaccination rate for our children and grandchildren. Many of us blindly trust the medical establishment, and now it's time to question vaccine safety. Mississippi Parents for Vaccine Rights is a grassroots organization working to educate the public and lawmakers about this important topic. Be informed. Go to mpvr.org. Like us on Facebook to stay up to date on the latest information. That's Mississippi Parents for Vaccine Rights, mpvr.org.
Oh, yeah, we're back on the Andrew Gosser Show, 103.9 WYAB. You know, I promised I was going to talk about a brand new development project that's about to go down in Jackson, and it's a significant investment into Jackson, Mississippi for housing. $117 million for housing in Jackson. My question is where the heck are they going to get the water from? We've got entire complexes already that are cut off. We've got other businesses and homes that are cut off from water. What makes you think you're going to be able to do this? And I mean, the money's there. It's Regions Bank. This isn't like some, fly by night company just rolling in and say, "Hey, we're gonna invest in this." It's the Affordable Housing Group inside Regions Bank, partnering up with a veteran developer, Vitis Group LLC. I should look into them to update 3 existing affordable housing properties in Jackson for current and future resident needs. These 3 properties include the Village Apartments, the Commonwealth Apartments, and the Madonna Manor, and are now part of are calling the Jackson Trio. Some of these look like, smaller duplexes or condos, but I'll tell you what, they've got a building there that kind of reminds me of Cabrini Green in Chicago. Tall, people packed in there. And I mean, the renderings look like something out of MS Paint, and I'm not necessarily whooping them up for that. But what I will say is that every place that puts in affordable housing, the community seems to just go down. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm trying to get in contact with the person in charge of your telephone and internet accounts.
You are on the radio right now. You're calling into a live talk show.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry about that.
So how do we get on the list if this is like a call-in number? I'm just curious. That's how you handle that. She didn't know what the heck she was talking about. She was just cold calling. That's the way you got to do it. You just got to be sweet. Gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word incites anger, right? Make her world famous. I wish we could have got the company. That would have been even better. I'll get better next time. But where was I? Talking about affordable housing. Every time that we brought in affordable housing, the neighborhood just seemed to go down and decline. It started off really nice, but over time, it just went down. And affordable housing steals the American dream from people who are living there, because they just get addicted to that money and that place, and that's just what they know. Going back to what Rick said about kids having to struggle and do stuff 30 years ago compared to somebody who's got a college degree today, I think that is one of the biggest problems that our kids, the youths of America, have. They don't know how to struggle. They can't cope with it. We were talking at church the other day, and somebody's like, "I listened to you on the radio, Andy, and I had the same thing happen to me at a grocery store in Brandon. A kid couldn't make up his mind and had to go to his phone. He was like 13. I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on here?" So you're going to have all of these low-income housing, affordable housing, where we're going to put people in that are never going to seek to drive to own their own property, that are going to be addicted to a handout, not a hand up. And the ones that do get out, they don't even talk about how they escaped and how they got out of that. It's a vicious cycle, whether it be the violence that we talked about in the last segment, where we talked about the water in Jackson this segment, where we talk about the affordable housing in this segment. Mayor John Horn has got a lot going on. And luckily for us, and look, I am not belittling Mayor John Horn, because what he's decided to do, he decided to run for office. He's the man now. He's sitting in the seat. He's forming a task force basically trying to figure out where all the money is going to go to pay off this Jackson water problem. Judge Wingate wants to go after this lawyer fee money. It wouldn't even pay 1 year of interest on the water problem in Jackson. The only thing that's going to save the water problem in Jackson is the federal government and the state government. Everything else is just a big lie. There is no way. There's no economic development inside Jackson proper to support this. There's none. Where are the jobs? Where are the businesses? There are some great businesses in Jackson. I'm not saying that. Stamp Superburger. Man, that place is phenomenal. But there's so few and far between. There's no full-up grocery stores in Jackson. There is so much. Jackson has been ran into the ground. It's a modern-day dystopia. And we can't seem to figure out that all the stuff that we did in the past to get us in this situation is not going to get us out of the situation we're in now. Just like this texter just said, self-licking ice cream cone. Yep, exactly. I don't want to see Jackson suffer. I don't want to see the community suffer. But there are people who have lived there for a long time who genuinely care about it. Need to link up with some of those people who live outside of Jackson who genuinely want to do something about it. No sound bites, no slogans. We're talking solutions. So you're going to have to figure out which party's going to do that. You're listening to the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. We're going to take our last break. We'll be right back. Go ahead, Matt. I just want to say thank you to everybody online who is watching today and listening. I thought it was a really awesome show. Thanks for listening. Kingfish just walking in the door. It's going to be a lit last segment. You know what's going to happen.
All right, you're sticking around for the next hour, right? You're sticking around, right?
Oh yeah, I got your back. I said
You're not on camera, are you?
I am, but you're not.
Okay, good.
And I'm going to shut this down as soon as we're done. And we are back on the Andrew Gosser Show on 103.9 WYAB. This is the last segment. Just the last little bit on this brand new quote unquote affordable housing and how it's just going to create a bigger divide between the Jackson community. Regions Affordable Housing provided approximately $36.6 million in federal low-income housing tax credits, $19.7 million in a bridge loan, and $61 million from Fannie Mae. So the taxpayers are going to spend a bunch of money to rehab some homes and give it all to a rich corporation and bank just to make them more rich and not give anybody any pride, any home ownership probability. It's not going to work. This was a unique transaction that enabled us to protect and revitalize 3 properties in Jackson, Mississippi under single financing, said Stephen White, Vitus Group President and Chief Executive Officer. We are grateful for our partnership with the Jackson Housing Authority, the support of our bond issuer, the Mississippi Home Corporation, as well as Regions Bank participation. We are going down a road that is just not going to end up good. We have so many dilapidated homes. We have so many other properties that are just completely falling apart. And now we're going to create a Cabrini Green and some condos and some duplexes. Don't get me wrong. The people who own those properties are going to make a good bit of money. And we've got Mayor Horn's task force on the water, so that's going to provide all the water that we need for that. Yeah, the water, right?
No, apartments.
Oh, just apartments? Okay.
The
Apartments. Yep, I misread that then. Shout out to Kingfish for the crew save. Yeah, he said he's going to bring me a coloring book. This is going to be great. I will be producing the show for Mr. Kingfish next hour as he's filling in for Crossing the Aisle. It's going to be a great show. I can tell that there's going to be a lot of banter and a lot of fun stuff. Kingfish always comes ready and prepared. It's going to be good.
You only knew.
If I only knew, he says. This week is going to be a great week. Just a quick programming note. Tomorrow, I will not be here. I've got one more medical update thing that I got to get knocked out of the way. And instead of putting it off, I was just like taking the first available opportunity, and it's tomorrow. So that's what I'll be doing. We'll have a rerun for that. And then later on this week, we're going to have Lieutenant Colonel Larry Brock, who's running for state representative in the state of Texas, who's going to give us an in-depth briefing of everything that's happening there, and also give a report on, his status as a former J6er who's been completely pardoned. That'll be a great show. And then we're also going to continue to monitor the negative publicity of Mississippi, and for all of our faults and for all of our warts, how we continue to perform well above our range. And we will continue to see massive growth, especially because we are a smaller state. So a little bit goes a lot longer way. I got to close out the show with this story, though. Jones County Sheriff urges caution as rolling yards tradition gets out of hand, i.e. TPing trees in front yards. Yep. Jones County Sheriff came out and said what has long been considered a harmless Southern tradition, we did it in Illinois too, It's drawing concern from local authorities as reports of excessive yard rolling, known as TPing. Like I said, let me clear about this. We've all rolled yards in our day. And
Or egged.
Kingfish says, or egged. But, you know, it's one of those things where if there's some Gen Xers out there, I didn't do that. I just be really skeptical of their childhood because it just happens. It's not one of those things. Normally, we never did some of the stuff though that's being talked about here. Kids rolling vacant and deceased persons' homes. People targeting houses they don't know, sometimes nearly resulting in a confrontation or violence. I'm telling you what, as a newer resident of the state of Mississippi, you try to roll up on my house and I don't know who you are, you will get a in-depth and up-close meeting with the Second Amendment. This is what really is where kids these days are taking it to the next level. Toilet paper being thrown into swimming pools, leading to costly damage such as ruined pool pumps. It's a different day than we lived in, said Sheriff Berlin. Not all kids are doing this, but some are. Please talk to your kids about it. And that's what I would say. Talk to the troops, because bottom line is parents can alleviate this problem in Jones County. And if it's happening in Jones County, you know it's happening in Rankin County. It's happening in Hinds County. I got to make sure that I don't implicate anybody of any possible wrongdoing. But we as parents need to make sure that our kids are doing that. And man, I would never have thought about throwing toilet paper in a pool. And I'm just thinking about it now.
I wish I thought of that.
You just 4 years ago, you were hoarding toilet paper because of the COVID, right? We were. That just goes to show you how I hate to say it like this, but how decadent America is. 1 year we're going blows in the Walmart over toilet paper because we're worried we're going to run out, and 4 years later we are just waylaying houses we don't even know, TPing their yards. You're listening to the Andrew Gossip Show on 103.9 WYAB. We'll see you in 22 hours.